All right. As I stated, we're covering 2.7 today, order of operation. As I told you earlier, I prefer doing this packet than what's in your book. So what's in your book, you won't do out of this section, okay? The work that you will do out of this section will come directly from this packet. All right. Now, what we want to cover today is order of operation. All right. Now, let's think about this for a second. Order of operation is steps, okay, for you to take to do a problem, okay? Steps for you to take to do a problem. It's basically a set of rules, okay? If we didn't have steps or order in our lives, it would create chaos. For example, let's say Jonah decided to put on his shoes before he put on his socks. But he's still going to wear socks. Okay, so he puts on his shoes and then he puts his socks over his shoes. Okay, well, he would probably get laughed at, unfortunately, because he'd walk in and, well, look at Jonah, he's got his socks over his shoes. Okay, or maybe he's going to set a new fashion trend, okay, and put his socks over his shoes. All right, so obviously, probably not the best thing to do. Okay, now, did Jonah think of we wear socks and then shoes? No. Okay, who did? Don't have a clue. Okay, but there's a certain order to everything. Okay, for example, can you imagine if we all would have come out of our mother's womb at 8, and then we were 80 years of age, and then we decrease in age the rest of our life? So you start like I think it was Benjamin Button's movie, that he starts out as an adult, and then when he dies, he's like a little infant. Okay, well, how crazy, well, it's not crazy, it's stupid. How stupid would that be? Okay, that would be, just so many things wrong with that. Okay, so there's an order. We come out as babies, we grow, we start walking, we start chewing, we start yelling and screaming, we start, all the things that you do as a little child. Okay, and then you get older, and hopefully you grow more mature, and all this stuff. Okay, so there's order to everything we do in our lives. Okay, it'd be hard for you to get in your car, start it, put it in drive, then climb up on the roof and try to drive it. That wouldn't be very good. Okay, if you're going to do that, please let me know, and I'll make sure I stay far, far away so I don't get ran over. Okay, but there's a certain order to every single thing we do. Imagine if God would have created Adam and Eve before he created the earth. Okay, so there's Adam and Eve just sort of floating out in space, Then he created the animals, and all the animals are sort of floating out in space. We got fish flying around in the space without any water to go into. We got alligators, elephants, everything else. Okay, well, obviously there was an order. Each day he did something in order. Okay, he created light before he created Adam and Eve, because he knew they would need light to be able to see and walk. Okay, he created, everything he does has a certain order. Okay, we don't start out in heaven and then come to earth. Okay, you start on earth, and if you're a Christian, when you die, then you go to heaven. And you spend eternity in heaven instead of eternity on earth. Okay, so there's order everywhere you go. There's a set of rules or a set of guidelines that help you maintain your life. Okay, because you can imagine if everybody had their own set of things to do, and it was just, okay, well, I just do whatever I want to do. Okay, then there would be, that's what they call chaos. The Bible says, and I'm paraphrasing this, it says in Jeremiah, it says, a people without a plan perish. That one's actually in Proverbs. Okay, a people without a plan perish. Okay, and what the Lord's saying is, if you don't have a plan for your life, then there's a good chance you're going to live your life in chaos, and there's a good chance that you're going to end up, dying at an early age. Okay, and so He wants us to have a plan in our spiritual walk, in our academic walk, and in our physical walk. Okay, if all I do is sit around on a couch and eat bonbons every day or Snicker bars or whatever the case may be, and I just lay there on the couch and watch TV and stuff my face, okay, well then eventually this little body is going to end up being like 400 or 500 pounds, and I am probably going to be in some very bad shape. Okay, you got to have a plan. You got to have a physical plan. You got to have. That doesn't mean you have to be an athlete. Okay, it just means that you've got to have a plan. The Lord wants you to take care of your body. Okay, and that's why in math we must have a plan. Okay, because if we don't, then for example, if we don't have a plan, I can take this problem right here, and I can give you this problem, okay, and we'll probably get 16 different answers because everybody would do it their way. They go, well, I think you ought to do that first. I think you ought to do that first. I think you ought to do that first. Well, I think you ought to wear your socks over your shoes. I think you ought to not wear any shoes. I think you ought to go barefooted in shorts and, a T-shirt or, whatever the case may be. Okay, so without guidelines or steps to guide us in math, we would not be able to do a lot of the things we need to do, and if we did, we'd all come up with different answers. So they came up with what we call order of operation. Now, I don't know who came up with it. Don't have a clue. Okay? Obviously, somebody smarter than me. Okay? Which would not take a whole lot, but they are smarter than me. Okay? And somebody smart came up with the little acronym of please excuse. And you can take notes on your packet or you can take notes in your notebook. I don't really care on this section. They came up with this acronym of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, and it's an acronym because the first letter of each word represents something in our guidelines for order of operation. Okay, the P means parentheses, the E means exponents, the M means multiply, the D means division, addition, and subtraction. Now, here's one thing that you need to change on your packet. I want you to mark out the word and on both of the last steps. I want you to mark out the word and put or. When we use the word and, a lot of times people think that we do the addition before we do any subtraction, or we do the multiplication before we do any division. Okay, that's not true. Okay, the key is this right here. Okay, as you're moving from left to right in the problem, you do multiplication or division, whichever one you run into first. Okay, you do multiplication or division. Okay, not do all the multiplication and then come back and do all the division. You don't do that. It's whatever of those two signs you run into first, that's what you do. Okay? Now, same with addition and subtraction. Okay? If I had this problem right here, just do a little example here. If I had 22 minus 5 plus 6, okay? Well, in this problem, I move from left to right. I would have to do the minus first. So I do 22 minus 5, which is 17, plus 6. Okay, and then I would 17 plus 6, and that would be 23. Okay, so it's either or of those signs, whatever we run into first as we're moving from the left to the right. Okay, so understand that it's multiplication or division, and then add or subtract. All right? Now, the other thing that when we talk about parentheses, we're really talking about grouping symbols. Okay? Grouping symbols wouldn't fit in their little acronym thing, so I'm sure that's why they use parentheses. Okay? But there's more than just parentheses. Most of the things that you see in this section, in this year, will be only parentheses. But there are also, I know you'll see them next year, there are also brackets and a fraction bar. Okay, those are other types of grouping symbols that you will eventually see. a bracket, and a fraction bar. Okay? The brackets are used when you have parentheses and something else. Okay, so they may do something like this. They may go, okay, bracket 3 plus parentheses 5 times 6, close parentheses, close bracket, minus 2. Okay, that's how they would use brackets. Okay, when there's another set of parentheses already in the problem, they don't want to use two pair of parentheses. Okay? So, there's our order. Parentheses are grouping symbols. Exponents, which is something raised to a power or a square root. Okay, so let me give you an example of a power. That is obviously like 2 to the third. Square root would be like this. That would be a square root. That's what powers are. That's what square roots are. Okay, obviously you know what a multiplication or division looks like, or add or subtract. Okay, so I want to go down in your packet. Go ahead and go to page 2. Okay, page 2 at the top. Page 2 at the top has your rules again for you. Step 1, parentheses. Step 2, exponent. Step 3, multiply or divide. Step 4, add or subtract. What they want to know is this. They want you to go through these problems that I've got listed on the screen here. Okay, I copied those over. They want you to go through those problems, and they want you to tell them which thing you do first. Okay? So let's look at problem number 1. Problem number 1 says 12 plus 3 plus parentheses 6 times 2, close parentheses, times 9 plus 16. So by order of operation, am I going to do A, 3 plus 6, or B, 9 plus 16, or C, 12 divided by 3? Oh, that's a division. Is that a division sign? Yeah, okay. 12 divided by 3, or D, parentheses 6 times 2. So what am I going to do first, Emma? Which one? Parentheses, yeah, D. D is in dog. Okay, so you put a D over in the answer blank on your packet. Go ahead and do that. So we'll have the first one done. On your packet, page 2, you will see number 1. There's a blank for number 1 on the right. Put D in it. Okay, let's look at number 2. Number 2, and I'm having a hard time. Okay, it's division. Yeah. All right, number 2. Number 2 says 10 divided by 2 times parentheses 13 minus 6 plus 4. Okay, well, should be fairly easy to guess which one you do here first. Okay, which one, what letter, what choice do I have that we do first? Raven. B. Yeah. 13 minus 6, it's in parentheses. Okay, so put that one in the answer blank. Now, obviously, most of these have parentheses in them, but we get down to a few that don't, and so therefore it'll help better in the morning. So number 11. Okay, number 11. Or excuse me, not number 11. Number 3. Number 3, 11 minus 2 plus 6 plus 9 times parentheses 40 divided by 4. What do I do first? Emma? Yeah, parentheses. So which choice is that? C is in cat. Okay? C is in cat. So we do that one. Okay? Let's look at the next one, number 4. Number 4 says, well, you can read it. Okay? You got it on your paper, got it on the screen. So which one do I do here first? What letter? Staley. A. Okay, we got to do the parentheses. All right, so these are fairly simplistic. Ought to be able to get these all right. Okay? Now, let's look at number 5. What do I do here first? Brandon. Parentheses, and what letter is that? D. D is in dog. Okay, now we're getting a little bit more difficult. Not really, because they only give you one choice down there in the next little choices. Number 6, what do I do first? Jonah. Parentheses, and what letter is that? C. Now, This one, let's talk about for a second because it has two sets of parentheses. Well, we said a while ago that you have to move from the left to the right. And whatever you run into first, moving left to right, like you read, okay, that's what you have to do first. So in this problem, I have to do that first. Then I'd have to do this second. Okay? So that's how you would treat that problem since it has two sets of parentheses in it, or two pairs of parentheses. All right, now we move to the little bit more difficult ones. Number 7. Number 7 says 18 minus 9 plus 9 times 5 plus 40 divided by 5. Okay? What do I do first in this problem? Well, first of all, there's no parentheses. There's no exponents. So, what do I do first? Isaac. Okay, and which letter is that? A, B, or C, D, or D? B. Yes, we do the 9 times 5 first. Okay? Then what would we do second? Staley. It's not there, but the choice isn't there. Yeah, we do the 40 divided by 5. Okay, so we would do the 9 times 5 plus 40 divided by 5. Okay, and that's what we would do in that problem if we were going through the steps. Okay, number 8. I want you to do 8 and 9 on your own. Do 8 and 9 on your own. When you have the answer, raise your hand. Xavier, what'd you get for number 8? 8. 8, you got A? No, not A. You're on the right track, but no, it's not A. What? Somebody help him, Raven. Which one? C is in cat, or B is in boy? D is in dog? No? Maya? Yeah, it's C. Okay, it's C right here. C is in cat because as you move from left to right, there is no parentheses, there is no exponents, but as you move from left to right, you have a division sign. Very first sign. So I have to do that. 14 divided by 2 is what I'd have to do first. Okay? What about 9? Give me the actual, instead of the letter, give me the actual answer. It's like is it 16 plus 7? Is it 7 minus 5? What is it? Okay? Destiny. 63 divided by 7. Nope. You're one off. Michael. No, not 16 plus 7. Brandon.
7 divided by 63.
7 divided by 63. No. No. Staley. 7 times 63. Remember, we have to move left to right. Okay, when we're moving left to right, we have an addition sign. So we have an addition, multiplication, division, subtraction when you're moving left to right. So, we're moving left to right then, the first sign that we run into, multiplication or division, is multiplication. I didn't say we do all division first. I said we multiply or divide first. Okay, so it can be either one. It's just which one comes first in order. Okay, so that one then should be the letter C. Okay, so having said that, what's 10 have to be? Noah? C? D is in dog. Dog. Okay, yes. D is in dog. Because as you move left to right, we have multiplication, addition, division, subtraction. Okay, and so we have to do the multiplication. That has to go first. So it would look like this. This would be first, this would be second. Okay, over here, that would be first, that would be second. Then this would be third, that would be fourth. Okay, over here, first, second, that would be third, that would be fourth. Okay, that's how you would have to do that one. All right, now, let's go down to page 3. Page 3 is the actual problems where you got to take it down to its final number. Okay, we're not just doing step 1, we're doing all the way. Now, the first 20 here are fairly easy because they all have parentheses. Okay, so the first one says 6 times 7, says parentheses, 6 times 7 divided by 7. Okay, 6 times 7 divided by 7. This is number 1. Okay, so obviously, what do I do first? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So what do I do first? Destiny. 6 times 7. What is 6 times 7? Isaiah. I caught him with his arm in a shirt. Clouded his thinking. Noah, help him out. 42. Okay. So I have 42. So I have 42 divided by 7. What is 42 divided by 7? Joanna. 6. So 6 is your answer. Now, if there's not enough room on your sheet of paper, you can do it on, do your work on another sheet of paper and then put the answer underneath the problem. Okay? But if you do that, you need to have that sheet that you do your work on stapled to your packet. So I don't, obviously, so we don't think you just came in and got them from somebody. All right, do number 2 on your own. Do number 2 on your own. Fairly easy. Who has an answer? Staley, what'd you get? 1 is correct. Okay, 1 is correct. All right, reason being 9 minus 8 is 1. Had to do the parentheses first. Divided by 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. Okay? Now, I want you to go to number 9. Number 9 says 3 divided by parentheses 8 divided by 2 minus 1 close parentheses times 1. Okay, so obviously we have to do the parentheses first. Okay, we have to do this first. As we go inside the parentheses, there's 2 signs. Do we do division or subtraction first? Division. So we do 8 divided by 2. So I have 3 divided by parentheses. 8 divided by 2 is 4 minus 1 times 1. Okay, what's 4 minus 1? 3. So it gives me 3 divided by 3 times 1. So what do I do next? Yeah, we divide 3 into 3, which goes 1 times 1. Wow, well, lo and behold, we get another 1. Okay? All right, let's look at number 19. 19 says 9 times 7 in parentheses minus 3 times 3 in parentheses, and that is minus 3. Okay? So what do I do first? 9 times 7? Okay? So that's the first parentheses. 9 times 7, so that's 63 minus 3 times 3 minus 3. So what do I do next? Brandon?
3 times
3. Right, 3 times 3. So it's 63 minus, what is 3 times 3? 9 minus 3. So what do I do next? Do what? Yeah, 63 minus 9. What is 63 minus 9? 54 minus 3. What's 54 minus 3? 51. Okay? So, here's what you're going to do for your homework. You're going to do page 2 that we just did. Just make sure you finished it. The 1 through 10. Okay, that's the A, B, C, the one we did as a group. Okay? And then you are going to do page 3, 1 through 20. Okay? So this is out of your packet. We'll do the 21 through 35. We'll talk about a couple examples tomorrow, and we'll do that in class. Okay? So that's what's due tomorrow. You may go. Don't lose your packet.